All right, guys, we're live. Welcome to the Hardcast podcast, episode somewhere between 2 and 2 million. We're not sure at this point. We're just going to keep it rolling. My name is Brian Baker. I'm here with Bailey Schumacher and Dr. Trent Kerr. We're really, guys, just going to go over. We are about, a week and a half out from the Colorado Marathon. So we're going to talk about kind of training leading up to this point, what we're seeing for the next week and a half, and then kind of what our goals are going to be come race day. How's that sound?
Yeah.
I like it, but I think, Brian, you always just don't put yourself out there as much as you should, let alone us getting ready for the 26 in a mile and a half. You just got done with a 50.
I did. Yeah.
Not even, well, I guess just right at a week ago, right?
It was Saturday in Michigan. Yes. Saturday in Michigan, it was the weather was not the best, but you make do with what you got to do, right? So got it done. Just pretty much leading up to the 100 in June. But, it was fun. It was a good race. It was fun.
Your time? Because I know it was pretty good.
It was right at 8.5. Right at 8.5 hours.
What was your goal?
What's that?
What was your goal?
9.5.
Oh, geez. You
crushed it. Yeah, I did pretty well. It was one of those things where I finished the first marathon in about 4 hours and 16 minutes, and I thought to myself, this may be too fast. And then kind of just put it in my head, like, we're going to keep it going until the wheels fall off, and if they fall off, so be it. But we kept it going, and I tried to do math in my head. I don't know, like mile 30 something to kind of see where I could project finish. And honestly, I couldn't do the math in my head. So I just had to say, don't worry about the time. Let's just run. And then I was able to finally figure out the math about 2 miles left. My brain started doing simpler math at that time. I was like, okay, I do have a shot to break 9. So let's go for it. But there's about a 25 mile an hour headwind from mile 22 to 35.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. But I mean, we deal with that all the time out here in Colorado, right? So it's just one of those like, well, we know how to deal with this. Just one foot in front of the other, see what pans out. And then I honestly had my crew chief, who's not here because this isn't her deal. she would not come on with me. But Michelle is my crew chief of that race. And honestly, they did awesome. It was her, my sister, and then Steve, my sister's boyfriend, and they were on it, man. I would come in to where they would park. They would meet me at certain points, like, I don't know, 5 to 7 miles each time down the road after mile 22, and they would have a new drink mixed up. They would have the food ready to stuff in my vest. Food's ready for me then. And I think my longest time spent with them was about 3 minutes. So it was, it was really good. They were able to kind of GPS me and judge when I'd be at certain places. So it was flawless. It was just one of those days where everything went right. So we'll take it.
And with those 3-minute pauses, you were still at a 10-minute mile. So you were absolutely trucking.
I did pretty good there for a while. Yeah, I was it was one of those things. It was a day. What was nice is it was about in the 40s for temperature wise. So I started with a running jacket on and gloves, and I finished with running jacket and gloves. So I didn't have to stop and take anything off. It was just, I wasn't cold and I wasn't hot. So everything worked out perfect. The only thing I did switch at mile 31, I switched a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I switched from one pair to another, and it was awesome. It was like a huge hug on the inside or on the outside, actually, taking off from that. So it worked out pretty good. Yeah.
That's good. What do you think was like the toughest? Like nutrition, like did you lose energy? Were you sore? Like what was the toughest part about it, if there was?
I think that 50, like the true race starts after 50K. So after mile 31 is when you start feeling like the legs are getting heavy, my hips are getting tight, but nothing really fell off. The only thing that I could tell kind of fell off at the end, and it's kind of worrisome for the 100, is I was having trouble eating while running. Like at the beginning, gels and bars and stuff like that were fairly easy to eat while still kind of moving along, but they got harder as it went by. Like in the 30s and the early 40s, I had a bar from BPN. It's like their endurance bar, and I had trouble getting that thing down.
Yeah.
It probably took me a mile to get the whole bar done.
Oh wow.
So I think it was at mile 42 or so. I just told Michelle, I'm done eating. So I had one gel left and then a full bottles, and I said, I'll just go with this. So
Yeah.
it was probably the toughest part, but the hardest mile was the last mile. And you think it would be the other way around. Like, man, I've gone 49. I only have one. We're in. But that last mile, for some reason, was really hard. It's like, I just want to be done, but this seems to be taking forever. So,
Well, did you eat, like, besides bars and gels, did you have like a sandwich? Did you have anything like that? Or is it just bars and gels the whole time?
I did bars and gels. And then I had, honestly, when I would meet Michelle, the one thing that was the best was a double stacked oatmeal cream pie from Little Debbie.
Oh,
Nice.
I bet.
It was wonderful. And I probably half mile down the road, I felt that thing kick in.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. So goes to show you don't have to eat the healthiest things, obviously, when you're going that far. But in the 50s in the past, like I would stop at their aid stations and I would get kind of whatever they had, sandwiches, cookies. But the way we had this mapped out, they had all good food for me and then some crappy treats for me. And I saved those treats like the oatmeal cream pies till later on. So it was mostly gels and bars, and then those like waffle stingers, honey stingers.
Right, yeah.
I did that as well, and just kept stuffing them in the vest. And then when I tried to do it every about 45 minutes, but that kind of fell off later in the race because you're not thinking as clear. You're tired.
Yeah.
But then you're just like, man, I should probably eat. So
Yeah.
it was really interesting comparing it to the last one I did. And the last one I did was about 3.5 years ago. It was night and day. I don't know if I just am more prepared this time or I've done it once and kind of came in with a different mindset. But honestly, the whole time I just kept telling myself when negative thoughts would creep in, because they're going to creep in, right? It's 8.5 hours out there. I didn't put any music in. I just went straight savage. No music, just listen to myself breathe. And just any negative thought that would creep in, I would say to myself, that's not your thought till you own it. It's just your brain playing tricks on you. So don't accept it. So it'd be like, oh man, this wind is really strong, or this hill is really, long. And it'd be like, it is, but what are you going to do? It's out of your control. Just one foot in front of the other. So I just tried to keep that positive attitude. And then seeing those guys every 5 to 7 miles, honestly, is pretty awesome because they're all smiles. They're trying to pump you up, and it works.
Yeah.
It really does work. So
Wow.
you went 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Man, that is impressive. That's
a long time.
Okay, what do you guys normally do on, like, when you go out to train? What do you listen to music? Do you listen to podcasts? What do you guys do?
I do both. I do podcasts and music. How about you guys?
Well,
Yeah.
real quick, why did you decide not to for the race?
That's what I'm curious about.
I had my headphones with me, and I had them all routed and stuffed into my vest. And I thought, as I get going longer, I'm going to put them in and try it. And then, honestly, when I got going, I just was like, nope, let's stay in tune with my body, stay in tune with my breathing, and let's just take it in.
Okay.
So I gave my headphones to Michelle at mile 22. The first time I saw him, and I said, just take these. And she was like, you sure? Which her idea was pretty good too, because it was so windy. I could have at least put them in and blocked the wind. But I was like, no, just take them. I'm going to do this straight up. And honestly, it was enjoyable.
That just seems like a long time to just be with your thoughts.
It was because it spreads out. At the beginning, you're running with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're always telling people good job or whatever. But as that race got going more and more, there was less and less people. So I bet after mile 22, I didn't run stride for stride with anyone. they were either passing me or I was passing them. But yeah, man, you guys should try it on that long run just to see if how it is. And a lot of people had headphones in. I don't know. It was just a different trick, and it seemed to work. So I think I'll try it in the 100 too. I'll just go without. See,
That's funny. When I was running 20 miles, my headphones died at like 17, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks." I'm like, "How do I get through?"
This is brutal.
I could just hear myself breathe.
Yes, but there was a number of times, like talking about breathing. There's a number of times that for no known reason, my respiratory rate kicked way up. And I was able to hear it and just be like, dude, chill out. You're doing fine. And it brought it right back down. So really, it kind of saved me in a couple areas probably. And you know how music is. You get some banger on there and you get amped, and I don't know. You guys are going to have to see how it works for you sometime and see,
Right.
But I guess go with what you used to. Are you guys going with music during the marathon?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I was planning on doing my normal. But I guess I don't know.
I know.
What's on tape?
I'm curious.
I do. I've been just listening to the Bible since this whole thing has started.
Oh, nice.
Amazing. I mean, like I've always said I was going to read the Bible.
Yeah.
There's like.
Why read it when somebody can read it?
They can read it to me. And
Yeah.
half those words I couldn't pronounce anyway.
Yes.
So it's much better, but I don't know. I might give it a shot. The first 3-4 miles, see without, and then
have them ready.
Change it up.
And it might not work for me next time. Next time I might be like, this is horrible.
Right.
Well,
double the miles. Yeah, you might need it.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, and it's funny because I finished, and one person in our group, because we had a bunch of family up there watching, and we got finished, and they're like, can you turn around and go back to the start? And I was just like, oh, dude. I didn't even have my head wrapped around that, but I was like,
bringing that up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So, but it was a fun visit. It was a fun visit with family. Cool course. What sucked, obviously, is because the wind was coming out of the west. This course went 50 miles from the east to the west. And the second 25 miles was harder than the first. So, but you're just at that point.
Yeah.
With like the trees, I mean, I know going through Michigan, there's a lot of trees. Did that help, or was it like wide open spaces?
It did. After about mile 35, you got in some trees in some little towns, and that broke it up a little bit. But we're way north by Lake Huron, so there was big gaps of nothing. And you weren't quite close enough to the lake to get into the trees. So, yeah, like I said, there was a 13-mile stretch there. It was headwind and hills, basically. Yeah, a guy passed me at one point, and he just said, nobody told me there was going to be wind and hills on this course.
Yeah. The two worst things, I'd say.
And I never saw him again. So he obviously managed pretty good.
Or he might have just said, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? He could have pulled off, but he looked like he was running pretty strong. And what's funny is I had some lady pass me at seriously like mile 38 or 40. I was going over a 10-minute mile, and I bet she was sub 9. And she flew past me.
Oh.
And I was like,
wow.
Dang, how's it taking her this long to pass me? And then she stopped at a aid station, took her time, and then got to pass me again. So it was really cool to get passed by her twice.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's what
I kind of like about racing is, that's funny. Sandy's comment.
Oh, Sandy.
Will
do.
Yeah.
And just
So
stick
go
with
ahead.
them. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was saying that's what I like about races. Like you can find someone and I like to do this. I find someone, I'm like, all right, always keep my eyes on them, or go get them. And then miles later, I'm like, crap, they're coming right back at me. So I kind of like it just to see other people and use them as my.
It is cool, especially at the end of a race, right? You're like, I'm going to catch that person in the red. Yeah. And then you do, and then you just find somebody else. I'm going to catch that person, right? So it can totally be used to your advantage, but just also realize that you're probably that person that somebody's trying to catch as well.
Yeah. I
You
never
know,
thought
somebody
of
behind you is like, I'm going to catch that blonde haired girl up there.
that.
So,
The one's dying. Yeah. I'm going to get her.
so let me kind of backtrack here, guys. How's training been going? Bailey, we'll start with you. She there?
Bailey,
Bailey,
she's froze.
we see you.
I can
Yep.
see she's got that same smile on.
Oh, I lost you guys for a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're back.
We got you back. Did you hear the question?
Yeah. How's training?
Yeah.
Trent, do you want to go?
Sure. Training is better. So, I was following the program pretty well with, getting your 6 miles in and then 90 minutes and then another 6 miles and then hitting the long one on the weekends.
Right.
And then when I did whatever I did to my calf, I took 3 weeks off. So I missed an 18 and I missed the 20. Those were the big ones that I missed.
Right.
So when I came back, I just went slow and steady.
Mhm.
I did like a mile on Monday night, and then on Wednesday night I did 3 miles, and then on Friday night I did or Thursday I think, whatever, but did 7 miles, and then it felt pretty good. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do 12, and then I did 13 and a half, and then this last week I did 18. So it's going well.
How did it feel? How'd the 18 feel?
It felt good. To mile 15, I felt really good. Like I was moving for me. That's not your guys' pace by any means, but I was
What was the long? Sorry to cut you off. What was the longest you have ran before?
17.
Okay, so it was more than you've ran. Okay,
And I'm going to be honest, I PR'd my 18 and my 17 mile on the same run, so that was awesome.
well, perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was good.
And the calf, how is it feeling?
Calves are feeling great, Bailey. Thanks for the calf sleeve idea, because it's been a change, absolutely a change. So, did we lose her again?
Yeah, I think so. She might just I'll text her. Keep going. She
Okay.
might have to log back on.
So so then I was like preparing myself this week to do another 18 or 20, and then I realized that we're only a week away. Like,
yes, that's true.
out. So I'm thinking I'm just going to do you have it scheduled for 8.
Yes.
So I figured 8 to 10, right, would probably be about good for me. And
yeah.
Then I think, I'll just see kind of how it feels and roll with that. So, no, I've been keeping the lifting up pretty steady, getting those split squats in, and I think that's helped out. I think that's helped a ton since I started doing split squats to open up my hips a little bit more. And adding some heavy deadlifts in, low rep, but just getting some good sets of deadlifts in. And I've kind of seen a change in my performance a little bit since starting that up. So
let me ask you real quick, because you're talking about your strength that you've been doing, and you had calf injury. Did you add in we have that calf raise machine. Did you add in like low weight calf raises just to get that stretch, just to see how that would feel?
I didn't. I've tried to stay off of the calves as much as possible, besides the deadlift and the split squats. Other than that, I try to stay off of it completely.
And I have backed off on that a little bit, and it was kind of my own fault. It's not because I've wanted to, but I kind of got overzealous in the gym a couple weeks ago, and was doing back squats, and then ended up doing like 15 sets, and then I couldn't really run or walk for a couple So it's totally my fault. And then it kind of scared me off, because I was like, man.
But you're known for that big old booty, Brian. So I know you had to.
That thing's going away. That is going away. Sadly. But hopefully we get it back someday. Hopefully it's not gone forever. But well, that's good. I'm glad the calf is doing good, man.
It really is. So
it kind of put you down to 0 for a while.
It did, and I took 3 weeks completely off, because after I heard it on Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. But then I came back and I ran that next week, and it hurt. I do my 6 miles, I did whatever. And then I was out for the 14-mile run, I think is where I was on. And I made it 2 miles, and I could tell this isn't right. So I just turned around and came home. And the last mile that I actually walked, because it just wasn't good. So I think just actually taking that all off that time helped me out, came back better. I kept stretching and doing the lifting. I tried to stay off the legs if it hurt, but it was light squats, light things like that. But now, shoot, feels good. My hips feel pretty good. Say that 18 went well for me. So yeah, if it wouldn't have got dark, I was going to go to 20, but it was a little late and figured I don't need to be out running in the dark because people out here, they don't tend to slow down for you.
They don't tend to slow down in the daytime.
No,
let alone the night.
I took it in.
Well, that's good. And just think, I mean, because 20 is your longest run right on our program anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So you really didn't miss out. I mean, you missed out on some volume, right? And
Yes.
just some time on your feet, but you really didn't miss out on like a huge run that was going to be your biggest run. I mean, you've been close to that distance, right?
Pretty much right there. So I did want to get over that 20 just because I know you said before, like those last 6 miles, especially here, are kind of like, ooh, here we go.
Yeah.
So wanted to get to that threshold, but I guess we'll throw in the headphones at that time and just let the music bring me in.
Yeah, because you know what? I guarantee you that on the Cinco de Mayo, you're going to get in more than 18 miles. So
we're going to get it in.
That's right.
No matter what, we may be walking at home, but we're going to get it done.
And Bailey, how's it been going for you?
Good. I was going to ask Trent, are you going to wear your sleeves for the race? Like, are you ditching them? What are you going to do?
Oh, absolutely not. Those things are definitely being put on because I don't care. Like I took that picture that one day, you guys, and I'm like, oh, look at this geriatric out going for his run, but I don't care. Nobody cares what I look like, right? Everybody's in the same game except for the dudes that are going for the under 4 or under 2.5. But I'm really like, I'm going to try to keep it under 5. That's my goal. If I
was going to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. At first it started at 6, but after that last one, because in 3 hours I did the 18 miles. So I was like, okay, if I can keep this pace and keep it going, that puts me at 4.5. So try to keep it under 5. I'm going to be happy if it's 5.5 or 6. I really don't care. I'm just going to get it done.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
But you guys would definitely be about 5, 6 in by the time we get there. So don't order me one too fast because it'll get hot.
I don't know.
We will. Yeah, we will see. It is going to be hot that day, right? I was looking at or something popped up on my phone and it said the start temperature when we start is going to be in the 50s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was thinking that early in the morning up the Pooter, it's going to be in the 50s.
Could be a little warm.
Yeah. We could end like today. We don't want that, guys.
No.
I love nice days, but we don't need to be running in 75-degree weather. But
no, 45, 50s are good with me.
Yeah. Especially with your knee sleeves, man, or your leg sleeves.
Are you, Bailey? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll wear them, but like that was part of my training. You know, there's so many ups and downs, like with training. Like I was kind of like you, started strong, didn't want to miss a day. And then, you know, I started dying off a little, doing more of like lifting, CrossFit workouts.
Yep.
But I also struggled with that because I always knew that I had to run. So I didn't know if I should like push myself enough, like when I'd go into lift, or if I was just being a wimp, like if I was not lifting enough because I knew I had to run. Or I even had to ask Jalen the other day, I'm like, am I being a wimp or is it okay if I don't add weight? And she's like, no, you have big things coming up. Like, don't add weight, just do the bar. I'm like, okay, it's approved, then I'll do it. But it's been good training. Like there were, I feel like when I started, I could start to feel pain in my shins. And so then I had to get the sleeves and I felt like a nerd. But it really helped. I feel like icy hot and the sleeves really just did the trick. But then I kind of got those under control. And then, you know, the next week it'd be like my knee pain. And so there were a lot of pain going into it. But overall, I think my body finally adjusted to what it was doing. I was able to ice more, stretch more. Like I learned that along the way with all the training, like with all the running, and I learned the importance of recovery. And I'm really not a person to like rest. So I had to like force myself some days like, okay, you don't need to go lift because you're going to have like a 4-mile run or whatever. So I learned a lot, but training was really good. I feel like I kind of had the same situation you did where I kind of maybe went too hard in the gym and then I'd go for a run and I'd just be gassed, like my legs are smoked. So learning a lot, but training's good. It was fun to like hit different PRs and just, you know, and it was kind of fun to like text you guys and be like, did you get it done? Like, what was your time? That was fun. So
right. I think it's great to have the group because you can,
sure.
you know, other people get tired of hearing about it, but we're all in it together. So it's like, might as well tell somebody about my run so I know who to tell, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But even when you were out running, I know there was one day that I was out running and even texting you guys like,
yeah,
hey, I just set my 6-mile PR. Feels good. Everything's awesome. And then you guys talking to me back and just talking into my headphones. But even that day, I was like, oh yeah, keep going because you told these guys how fast you were going. So don't wuss out.
Right.
There were a lot of runs where I'd be running and you're like, someone would say like, just got it done. And I'm like, oh gosh, got to keep going. They got it done. I can do it. I got to keep going. So yeah,
well,
it was good.
It's been great. It has been great. And we got another one here. There we go.
Just always looking out for us.
Thank you, Sandy. We appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate that. So Bailey, Trent told us his time that he's going for. What are you going for?
Oh gosh, I don't know if this is too ambitious, but I'm going for 3:50. 3 hours and 50 minutes. That's the goal, and I only say that knowing that there's a little bit of downhill with this race.
Yeah, there's about 16 miles.
Yeah. So I don't know. When I ran 20, honestly, my goal. So my brother-in-law ran 20 like the weekend before, and he had a pretty good time. So of course, like the competitiveness in me, I was like, gotta beat it. I gotta beat his time.
Yeah.
I did, and it felt so good.
Nice job.
But then at the end, I was like, oh gosh, 6 more. But just with my time and how I felt, I think I can get 3:50.
So you're looking at, and you probably know better than me, are you looking at like, that's like an 8:50? Is that like an 8:45, 8:50 pace?
See, that's the problem is I feel like I don't like get down to those details. I just go based off of like previous times or.
I can tell you right away.
Yeah, go ahead and figure that out.
Let me tell you. You guys
I don't know. That might be pushing it. Maybe I should just
go ahead and talk. You guys go ahead
and that's what, like Brian, you were talking about just trying to stay where you live, right? And I know when you and I went and ran together that one day, just because you were there, right? I start taking off, and I'm like, okay, I need to run faster because Brian's here. And you said it about the half-mile mark. You're like, hey, slow down. Like,
I was like, I can't go this pace. Yeah.
Right.
So I think that race day, I just need to realize that and be like, hey, man, just go at your pace. Because if I go out like that and try to stay with Bailey, like you're talking about, trying to track people down, there is no chance. I will be done by mile 10. So yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me. And I think that whole CrossFit thing kind of comes into it too, is there were some of those CrossFit open workouts where you start off and you're flying, right? I'm just going to tear through this.
I'm going to crush this, yes.
Yeah, and then you end up crushing yourself. So just being able to stay cognizant of, no, you're not Bailey. So don't even try to stay with Bailey. Just
I don't even know if I can get that. But I struggle with like how fast do I start? So like when I did my 20, I started really fast and I knew I started fast, but I almost feel like it was better. Like I ran 11, 12 miles, like pretty good, was setting like PRs. And so I knew I was going to hit a wall and I did, but then I was able to finish where I wanted. So I don't know. I'm starting to get better about like looking at my heart rate, seeing where it's at as I'm running more so than like my overall time. I don't know. I'm trying to get better about that. So maybe I should just stick with under 4. Since it's my first one, maybe I should give myself a little cushion.
Well, have your primary goals under 4, and then your goal B is 350 if it's there, right? And that's actually an 8:46.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, Bailey.
We will see.
It can be done, you know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to start off the race is just kind of run intuitively, right? But you're still keeping a lot in the tank, running comfortably. Your respiratory rate's low. You feel good, but you still can talk. You can still hold a conversation. And then after you get to, 16, 17, 18, then try to kick it up.
Right. Yeah. when I
Easier said
ran,
than done.
what's that?
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
When I ran the half marathon of this race last year, I PR'd by like 15 minutes. I think because it was mostly downhill. So I think I just have that in my head that I can just be
Sure.
fast because it's downhill. But I know there's
That's
more
perfect.
than that. And downhill can be hard and harder on your body. So
Yeah, it's
We'll
harder
see.
on your legs for sure. Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
I say, hey, go with it.
right.
Go with it. Try it.
Yeah.
Start with 350. Just go 350. and then
Right.
go from
You
there.
heard it. We're going for it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Full send, lady. Let's go.
That's right. So training's good to this point. Primary goal was to toe the line with no injury, right? And we're all good there.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's perfect.
With you, Brian, now since you did the 50, what are you looking like these last 2 weeks or this next week, I guess?
Mhm.
Week and a half.
This week was pretty light because last week I think was it's been obviously one of my bigger weeks. It was near a 70-mile week. So this week I have a 6. I have a 6 tomorrow, and then I have a 14 and then an hour and a half. But the problem is the week of the marathon, I do a 10, 6, and an 8. Run the marathon, and then the day after the marathon, run 3.5. So it's more built in as the 50 was a race. This is a training. So doesn't mean I'm not going to go for it because I'm going to try to break 4 as well. I'm going to try.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I guess your guys' mindset's completely different than mine. This is not a race. This is just a finish for me.
And that's all right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
My main goal is to finish as well.
Yeah,
That's
same.
true.
I've never
Yeah.
run.
But yeah, I do have a goal in mind for sure. We'll see how it rolls out. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this one's tricky. Like Bailey was saying, this one's tricky because it starts downhill and you can get what do they say? You can get what is the saying? You can get in front of your skis pretty easy. Is that the saying?
I don't know. Never
Have
heard
you
that.
one? Well, you can get ahead of yourself for sure because you can be like, well, I'm going to make hay while it's downhill and just crush your quads. And then by the time it flattens out, you're toast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's the strategy when you run up into LaPorte? That's like a 2-mile jaunt, isn't it? 3 miles?
Yeah.
So, and you're going up, that's a pretty good steep. I mean, that's a pretty good incline.
Yes.
How do you hit that baby? Just one foot in front of the other, just like you said?
Basically 1 foot in front of the other, and don't worry about those couple miles.
Yeah.
Don't start freaking out about it and don't think, well, I got to keep that 8:46 pace here. Because I guarantee before you get there, you've probably logged some 8:20s and some 8:15s. You know what I mean? It's all going to balance out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hills are hills. It's just like I was talking before at the 50. Hills are hills. It's out of your control. And the last thing you want to do is just try to crush yourself up that hill, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's a sneaky race because you can do like Bailey was saying and just absolutely crush a PR, or you can absolutely crush yourself in the beginning and fall apart. Start leaking oil once you get down to Ted's place or whatever that place is.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen anything about that shuttle? Like, how are we getting up there?
So last year we had to meet somewhere in Fort Collins.
Okay.
And then you just hop on the shuttle and they just bring you on up.
Gotcha.
And then you just have to hang out there. Well, last year we had to hang out there for like an hour, 45 minutes.
With one porta potty?
Yep, they had that. They had hot chocolate, they had coffee. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think that's got to be about the same for the marathon, but it's cold. Like, I know it's going to be a nice day.
Right.
And last year, the same thing. It ended up being super nice day, but when you're going up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and you get up there and you're waiting, it does get cold. So,
because I ran this back in, it was the early teens, maybe 2010 or 2008. Like, it was a long time ago. But it was the same thing. You rode the bus up there. They just dropped you off in like a dirt parking lot.
Yeah.
And then you just waited. And they had like 2 porta potties for 500 people or something like that.
Yeah.
That's when all the coffee's hitting on everybody. They're getting nervous for the race. And you're
And
like,
then you have
oh,
those people that are like warming up and they've already ran 5 miles as their warm up there. It's
Right.
like, oh,
right.
maybe I should do some lunges.
Yeah, my cousin and I for this 50 kind of stood there and stretched our quads a couple times. And we're like, we're good. Like, we're going to get warm. This isn't.
Yeah, I'm not picturing much warm up.
No.
So,
No.
well, and I'm going to have to probably bring a roll of toilet paper because the nerves are going to strike. Might have to find a log, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I think I had to run up a little ways last time, at least to go pee.
Huh?
Because I was like, I'm not waiting in this line. But yeah.
All right. Now, what do you do for nutrition that morning?
Yeah. What's your go-to?
Mine's bagel and cream cheese, usually.
Yeah.
So you're just going to bring that from home?
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of stuff sitting out.
Well, I think I got it from the hotel last time because I stayed at the hotel. So they kind of had that out. It was like the host hotel that we stayed at. So
We need to get hotel.
yeah.
Okay.
Might not be a bad idea. But I think we got it, guys. I think we got the plan. I think we're ready to go.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. Now, we do have to go up the day before and sign up.
Yeah, I think and pick up our packet.
They have a certain time, right? We have to do that.
I think
Yeah, I
so.
should probably look into that.
Yeah.
It's a good week to do that.
Usually they send me an email week before and then I just, as a reminder.
Gotcha.
So should look for an email soon. Letting you know what to do.
So
We'll
what
get
did your
some-
nutrition look like the day before? Like that 50, what did you eat?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything different.
Really?
I didn't like carbo load or anything like that. I just ate like I normally ate because that's how I trained. So it was, you know what I mean? I don't know enough about that stuff, like pre-race carbo loading and stuff like that. I'd probably just get myself in trouble. So I just ate like I normally ate and went with it. Had some good carbs in the morning, felt kind of full, had my cup of coffee. And then, just showed up and ready to rock.
Here we go.
I think that's what I'm going to do here. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works out. But
Well, sure, I'm glad I got some people running with us. So, I mean, that's good that I'm not alone in this.
yeah, it'll be good. Somebody will be suffering right along with you somewhere. So
Yeah, you'll be a few miles ahead, maybe 8, but
maybe not. Maybe not. You
Never
never
know.
Yeah.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. Well, happy training the rest of the here on out. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll be in touch and we'll make a plan that we meet up that morning and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good.
But no lifting too heavy, no getting too crazy with the weights.
Yes,
We
sir.
gotta show up. We gotta show up healthy, right?
Gotta be ready to roll.
That's
Right.
right.
Yep. So,
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. And then we will probably get together and do a post-race wrap up on that too.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay.
Sweet.
All right, guys.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
We'll
Bye.
talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.